Excuse me. Let me do that again. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. And let me see who was here first. Peach Rose. Thank you so much for being here first. Connie Balmer and Don Placios. Is that no? It's Palacios. Okay. And Elaine Parker. Hey, Elaine Parker. Oh, let's see here. Is it Jaree Hill just became a member? Thank you so much for that. During these rough economic times, that is music to my ear. Thank you very much for becoming a new member. All right. Okay, thank you so much. And what else do we have here? Big Mama's here. Emilio Rodriguez, Carmelita Simone. Also, if you guys have sent a buy me a coffee, thank you so much for that. I'm so sorry that I have not acknowledged that as on a daily basis. Well, whenever I do get them, but I don't have it where to inform me. I just look every so often, and then I notice that it's there. So I do apologize for that, but I do appreciate all the support that you're able to give to Royal Sussex. Okay, and who else? Caroline is here. Janice Goodrich is here. Legs is here. Okay. Anyway, it's been a very successful 2 days. Thing is, I'm gonna come back later in about 4 hours, I think, and I'm gonna talk some more about the trip. Um, but it's just so much to talk about, so many things that they were able to squeeze into the second day. I don't know when these two sleep, but I hope they do get some good sleep on the plane on the way home. They should be airborne right now. Let me see, what is the local time in Jordan? Okay, it is 2:31 a.m. So no doubt they are en route to home as we speak. Um, they'll probably get there tomorrow morning. And yeah, it's been very successful. They have done a lot of work in just 2 days. And I think it was very brilliant to go with the WHO Secretary General, because that way they can combine the security. You know what I mean? That way they can have the protection that they need. And that is so paramount. I did notice something about the security, and I will talk about it when we have another members only. So just remind me in case I forget. Um, I'll wait till the members only. It's not so important, but mostly I wanted to wait until they were on their way home before. And you know what? Maybe I won't say anything at all. It's probably best I don't. Um, but I did see it. I did see it, and it was very, very interesting. And I'm just like, wow. Um, I had to go frame by frame to notice it, but believe me, it was not a breach of security or anything like that. I don't want you guys to think that I'm hinting that something happened or anything, but I don't know. It just might be best to keep to myself for now. Um, because we don't want to help out the tabloids. We never want to help those people. They don't deserve it. So for now, I will keep it under my hat until it's time. Yeah, he did look stressed. He did look very stressed. But he also looked like he was ready to whoop some ass. So there's only so much relaxation that Harry could have on a trip like this. So I did notice some things, and I was like, let me look at that again. And I went frame by frame, and I'm just like, oh yeah, oh yeah. Yep. That's the warrior prince. That is the warrior prince. As ever. So as ever did not have, at least I don't, they didn't do the bookmark today, did they? Because I saw another notification for tomorrow. I'll show you what I mean here. It says, hold that thought. Okay. So Thursday, 26th, and at 9 a.m. Pacific time, right? And then again, it says, hold that thought. And that's for Friday, the 27th. So am I correct that they did not do this yet? That it is like being scheduled again for tomorrow? Because I didn't see where it said it was rescheduled. I just saw that it was a different date. So help me out if you know. I did not see a notification for it, but I did notice that. Uh, oh, RS, thank you so much for the PayPal. Greatly, greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much for that. Um, but yeah, so if you do know, let me know because I don't want to give the wrong information, but I think they held back and maybe they just want to wait until Meghan is home or maybe it clashed with the trip to Jordan. Maybe Megan's trip to Jordan was an afterthought. Maybe she didn't know she was going until she knew she was going. It's kind of hard to say. Yeah. Okay. So they did not have one this morning. So tomorrow will be the one. Got it. And so yeah. So if you did not get one last time, then try to make sure you go by that schedule for tomorrow, or as they say in the UK, that schedule. They're so international. Yeah, but check the schedule for tomorrow and see what time that is where you are. So 9 a.m. Pacific time. Oh gosh, for me, okay, that's 2 hours earlier than me. So their 9 is my 11 a.m. Is that correct? I think their 9 Pacific is my 11 Central. I think. Anyway, um, I don't think I'm going to get one. I already got one. I don't really need it. But I don't know. I just call me greedy. I might want to get another one. I may get it and I don't know. I don't really need it. I think I'm going to pass on this one so that people that don't have one can get one. Um, but that reflex, get it. The reflex kicks in. But I don't think I will. I got one, and that's all I need. I don't need another one. And by this time tomorrow, I will still be, well, actually, by time it starts tomorrow, hopefully I will have successfully talked my way out of it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Don't do it. Don't do it. So, Prince Harry and Meghan Sussex Foundation announces donation to aid children in Gaza, right? So, this is the old story here that happened last year. As you can see, they donated, let me see, in total, it was $500,000. So it was 200,000 was donated to the World Health Organization for medical evacuations from Gaza to Jordan. 150,000 US dollars went to save the children for humanitarian aid in Gaza, and $150,000 to support the Center for Blast Injury Studies at Imperial College London for prosthetic research and development. The donation aims to address a high density of child amputees in Gaza. Oh, that, ooh, why does that trigger me? I hate the thought of that. You see there, I have this thing. Anytime it's something to do with hurting a child, it just seems like something just punched me in the stomach. Oh God, child amputees. Oh, I hate the sound of that. The donations aim to address. Yeah. Okay, I'm done with that. Anyway, that's what happened. Let me get away from that. Okay, the UK ambassador to Jordan, Philip Hall, extends his sincere gratitude to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex for their visit. He stated, your present support and acknowledgement of efforts undertaken by the United Nations, the World Health Organization, and the government of Jordan and other stakeholders are greatly appreciated. We are thankful for your attendance. So, thank you, Mr. Ambassador. Sorry. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. And thank you for doing what so many other people just refuse to do because they're petty and shady. They're losers, failures, and short sighted panty waists. And they just refuse to acknowledge the Sussexes. But that's okay. They have a homegrown, built in support system called the Sussex Squad. And then everything kind of evolves from there. I mean, Lord knows they can't depend on their parents and such. Anyway, uh, well, we do have Doria. And then, of course, I didn't notice this, but since everybody else is talking about it, uh, listen, the Daily Mail is having so much fun telling everybody that the Sussexes were snubbed by you know, by the Jordanian royal family. They were not scheduled to see the royal family. They were actually there as guests of the World Health Organization. They are there, as they said, stakeholders. They donated that's a $500,000, right? That's $500,000 they donated for a very worthy cause. There was no purpose or no reason for them to see the King of Jordan or anybody else for that matter. However, that little scrap of paper lets you know that as Jordan is definitely doing the Lord's work by making sure that they have taken in refugees, injured, sick people from Gaza and surely from the West Bank. Um, I mean, let's face it, it is a disgrace what's happening to children. And so, is it any wonder that the Sussexes have been in touch with um, the royal family, which, of course, I believe their royals are absolute monarchs, and they don't just reign; they rule. And well, anyway, the little scrap of paper there, it says Reina of Jordan and whatever else it says. Looks very, you know, it's hard to read. And that's just a guess that that's what it says. I have looked at it and it could say that. It may or it may not say that, but it should not surprise me that they had been planning this trip for a long time. And maybe there was some advice or suggestions, or who knows. The royals stay in contact with royals. It doesn't matter if you're a so-called a non-working royal, but this term non-working royal, there's one thing that Professor Wilson gets correct is that that's a ridiculous thing to say. Who's working and who's non-working? It does not make sense. It's ridiculous to say that. Um, if you're a royal, you're not just laying in bed all day. You are doing something. Um, well, let me take that back. But everybody's got to put food on their table, right? Or maintain their homes. So I guess if there was one person or two that I could say does absolutely nothing, that would be probably Will and Kate. They only work about half the time, but everybody else in the family has some kind of something. But Will and Kate, they only work about half the time. They're like, well, Willie is about 50%. Kate works about 10%. Yeah, so they're as close as it comes to a non-working royal. But that phrase is something that was created to other Harry and Meghan, just so you know. That is a way to other the Sussexes. They are working just like other members of the family work. But yeah, they just wanted to other them. You know how it is. Okay. Lex says, didn't they say that Prince William at The Hague? Didn't they say that of Prince William at The Hague? Oh, I'm sorry. What did they say? I just said so much in a short period of time. I'm kind of lost. I'm so sorry for that. But thanks for the super chat. And Elaine Parker, thank you for the super sticker. Let's see. William attended the wedding of the heir because he is the heir. Parallel titles, not French. Yeah, you know what? They have like one picture of William with, I guess, the crown prince. Looks like they're watching television or something like that. Um, and I've been seeing that all day because they're trying to establish as though there's like some kind of close friendship between the house of the Jordanian royal family and the British royal family. There is not. There is professional courtesy and such. Matter of fact, I would say that they're probably about as close as the Middletons are. Because remember, Carol Middleton also went to the wedding for whatever reason. So there's some kind of, I don't know if that was from the airline days or what, but there's some kind of something there. But I don't suspect it's anything more than just being one royal household to the other. They have really been trying to overstate the closeness of the households, and they're not. They're really not. Um, as far as I'm concerned, this is just not really a thing. Somebody dies, they go to the funeral. Someone gets married, they show up at the wedding. That's it. Just one royal family to the next. Daily Mail, Lion, always. Well, I mean, listen, the British government knew that Harry and Meghan were going. They told them so. And of course, even if there was some intention for them to meet up, I don't even think there was time. Everything was booked solid for the Sussexes. I'm going to show you some photos when I come back later, and you will see exactly how massive their schedule has been. They probably worked right up until they got on the plane and went home. There was no time um, to hang out and carry on like that. unless the royal family of Jordan was somehow involved with that. There was no. Oh, sorry about that. There was no purpose for it. And yes, the Daily Mail lie. They're trying to invent some kind of a slight to the Sussexes that just simply does not exist. And oh, The Hague. Yes, I got it now, Legs. They did the same thing at The Hague with the King Willem Alexander. Okay, I'm slow, but I got it. That's exactly what they did. And they even had a picture of him looking so angry. And anyway, and what happened? He shows up at the Invictus games. Harry shows deference to the king by doing a bow and then a handshake. And then it was a laugh a minute after that. As a matter of fact, I think that Harry and his people and Willem and his people, they went to an Irish pub after the Invictus games. So yes, Legs, you're absolutely right. That's exactly what happened. Let me see. Let me see here. I know I got a picture of it somewhere. Willem Alexander. I got a picture somewhere. Let me see. King of the Netherlands. Oh, that's how you spell it. Okay. But yeah, every time I think of that picture that they use, they had this picture of him where it looks like he was furious. Like, how dare Harry come over here? Hell, that's his cousin. Oh, please let me find that picture. Oh, there it is. There it is. I found I found the picture. I found the picture. It is a hoot. It is a hoot. Um I wonder who they pay to to select photos to go with the stories that they're running. Who do they pay to do that? Because I have to say, they are very talented at matching up photos to convey some kind of ridiculous storyline. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. Okay, so this is what the Daily Mail was saying, that that Harry didn't. Yes, yes, Legs. It's all coming back. They were saying that Harry did not stay at the royal palace or wherever they live, which is ridiculous. Harry was there to work, and if you're working, you're going to stay wherever your team is staying. They made it seem like it was just like it's like some kind of weekend shooting party or something like that. It was just so crass the way they did that. Now, okay, that was the picture that they used to convince the world that there was some hostility there, right? Now, check this out. I have this saved on my hard drive. Prince Harry meets King of Netherlands and pays visit to Irish pub. Okay, they went out for beer as soon as they were done. It was, the party was on. So please tell me, where is the hostility? Where is the hostility? Where is the brooding, angry King Willem who is going to send Harry to their version of the tower? one of his aunts, I believe it was actually the patron of the Invictus games. That you know, that was like all invested with making sure everything was official and went okay or whatever, something like that. I can't remember the exact thing, but yeah, there you go. Okay. Oh, what did I just miss here? Shelly L. Hi, Baron. Hello, squatties. Wasn't the wedding in Jordan the same one where Kate held up the line, mumbling at the bride? Right, as if somebody would. Yes, that's exactly what happened. William had to urge her along because there was a cue that just went on and on and on. Yep, that's the exact one. Let me find that one too. I know I have that one handy. And then, of course, the seating arrangement. You didn't hear the press say anything about that. They were sitting like probably 5 rows back, because they're so important and so close to the royal family that, according, oh, there it is, Clueless Kate. Clueless Kate. Look at the line. Girl, don't nobody want to hear about the early years. Look at the line. Willem up front. Fifth row Kate was explained. Yeah, and she, you know what, Legs, you knew exactly what I was going to say, didn't you? Thanks for the super chat. You knew already exactly what I was going to say. Fifth row Kate. Oh boy, look! I mean, look at this. First, there's this whole business, and then all of a sudden, it's like a laugh a minute. They were doing like the hokey pokey. They were doing like some kind of audience participation, doing the wave and all that kind of stuff. How is he so angry? And then all of a sudden, he's sitting right there with Harry, and they're doing all of the things that you do at a sports event. The only thing he didn't do was eat like a big giant pretzel or a hot dog or something like that. But otherwise, he came to have a good time. Oh man, this is fun. I almost forgot about that stuff. Um, but yeah, this is why we keep receipts. This is exactly why we keep receipts. Okay. So let's see. Harry and Meghan's Jordan trip shows what an asset they could have been. Call me a dreamer, but a reconciliation with the Sussexes might be exactly what the firm needs. So I am Sage says, I said last week to expect storylines like this to start eventually. I just didn't think it would start so soon. The correction I'll make to the headline is that Harry and Meghan were and still are an asset. Hello, they still are an asset, not could have been an asset. And that was the problem. They were too good, too amazing, too popular, and that just could not be allowed to continue. Right? That could not be allowed to continue. They were too effective at doing their jobs. Meghan, not only did she fit in, but as far as women in the family, she was dominating the headlines. And for someone new to the firm, I mean, it was just like she comes in there with all of that energy and vigor and everything, ready to work. I mean, she could not wait. She could not wait. At the time when the Sussexes met, Meghan was already making that transition from acting to philanthropy, humanitarian work. This is something that she wanted since she was a little girl. But she also enjoyed acting. She'd been around it her whole life. And so, what better, how ideal it was that the Sussexes not only fell in love, but they could actually do the work that they've wanted to do and have done their whole lives. Megan, her first time wasn't on television because of the detergent commercial. Her first time on television was when she was one of those young people protesting the war in Iraq, like tens of thousands of other Americans were doing at the time. That's how she made it on television back then. So, anyway, oh, I know what I was about to do here. Connie Balmer, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much on behalf of all of these Sussex friendly channels for being one of the first people, time and time again, to support some of the new channels that have come along. For that, we are forever grateful. Okay. Okay, World Health Organization. They have like a huge facility there in Jordan, I believe. And I'm sure you can understand why. Because the neighbor to Jordan to the east is the West Bank, that country about the size of New Jersey that has been causing problems. And of course, Gaza, which has been, separated from the rest of Palestine. And there's a lot going on in the region. A matter of fact, I don't know if I actually made a slide for it, but just so you guys know, there is going to be some heat coming down the line. I don't know to what extent, but Harry has made an appeal that humanitarian corridors are opened as soon as possible, meaning, of course, that they can get aid and, that the World Central Kitchen, among other NGOs, can get supplies to people that need it. There is risk of starvation, risk of infection and disease. There's just so many things that are going wrong. And I won't even get into the politics of it. But do remember that there was that period of time when there were some people that were very disappointed with the Sussexes because of that whole thing with that charity where they combined the Star of David and the swastika. And so they had to withdraw their support from that organization. The thing is, It's a fine line that the royals must walk. And I will include the rest of the family. You can only go so far, but you just cannot get into the politics of it. That is something for the government, especially in Harry's case. Harry is a bit handicapped by being a royal when it comes to his type of philanthropy or when he may or may not speak about certain things. He is still a member of the royal family and he still follows the rules of the household that everyone, including Charles, adhere to. They're not supposed to be political. That is, Harry doesn't even have a right to vote. Harry is not an eligible voter. In his whole life, he may never cast a ballot. So when you look at it like that, then you understand why certain things you just cannot be a party to. And so when that happened, they withdrew their support. It did not mean that they did not care. It did not mean that they were picking a side, although we already know what side they're on, but they're just not allowed to make those things official. But there are some things that you can do. So this is very risky to even appeal for a humanitarian corridor. As you all may remember, it wasn't so long ago that some members of the Royal Central Kitchen were killed trying to deliver aid. They were targeted by all, you know, reports that we've seen. It appears as though they were targeted. A lot of aid workers have been targeted. The fact that the Sussexes have been supporting World Central Kitchen, in particular, where Gaza is concerned, means that they are politically putting their necks out there. They're not hiding behind walls. And I said that a long time ago. They're not exactly the biggest activists in the world, and they're not supposed to be, but they are taking certain risks when possible, when necessary. They will. And this is definitely not without risk. Just as when Princess Diana, when she walked through that minefield, she was literally walking through a minefield, figuratively and physically, walking through a minefield. And instead of people being so hypercritical of the Sussexes, it's very weird when it comes from our side of things. Dr. Shola, Murad Morali, and even some of the people in the Sussex squad, they just like, oh, I'm never going to support them again. Bye. Bye. If Harry and Meghan don't do anything else, I have one thing that I am going to instruct them to do. Keep those babies safe. Get your money so you can secure their future. They got one thing and one thing only that they have to do, and that is keep those babies safe. And if that means you have to withdraw your support, which I believe they were certainly entitled to do based on the thing that happened, it was not the place that they were supporting was not supposed to be political. And then one person within the organization decided to make it political. It's just like someone in the government here in Chicago, one of the aldermen decided to put the defund the police sign in the window of her shop, of her automatic office, her city council office. That was stupid. That was very stupid to do. Um, it's very decisive. It if you want your constituents to support you, that's a way to lose those constituents by doing something like that when there's so much crime. We need to have a relationship with the police. We don't need to defund them. And I'm as liberal as they come, and I just don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. That to me, that's ridiculous. Now, if you want to have better training for the police, fine. But we're not defunding the police. What we need is more police and better trained police, but we don't need to defund them. But when you do something like that, you're going to alienate people that would want to support you. And combining the Star of David and a swastika, well, you're asking for it. You're asking for it because you're making it very personal. You're entitled to feel whatever you're feeling. But when you're trying to bring aid to people, get the money. Make it personal someplace else. Get the money. Send the money. Send the food. Send the blankets. Send the medicine. But if you do something like that and you alienate people, that's a big mistake. And so the Sussexes withdrew their support, which is what they were supposed to do. It doesn't mean that a person doesn't care. You can only go so far. Any of us can only go so far. I like to think that I'm, speaking my mind, but I know that's not the case because I'm on a platform that could pull the plug on me at any second. So with all the good that I hope that I'm doing, wouldn't it be ridiculous to make something so personal and walk around, with my lips stuck out, so angry about one particular thing when there's other ways that you can deal with things? That would be ridiculous. So none of us are so brave. And Dr. Shola has limits to what she can say. Murad Morali has limits to what he can say. And yet they were all so disappointed with the Sussexes. Go to hell. Go to hell. I don't know about them, but anyone who lives in the world where your whole family is being threatened on a daily basis, ask Michelle Obama. There was only so far Barack Obama could go. And even that fool in the White House now, it's only so far he can go. You cannot be all things to everybody. So hopefully some of those people who turned against the Sussexes can see how ridiculous that was. This is risky for them. $500,000, that was risky for them. But if you know anything about them, you know that this was something that came from their conscience, not some kind of calculated move or something like that. They really want to help. But you can't help everybody all the time, especially when something becomes so political and dangerous like that. Oh, did I say that? I thought I was saying it in my head. I thought I was saying it in my head. But seriously, though, I mean, I was so disappointed with them for, listen, I'm pretty good at not making things so personal. And also I'm pretty good actually, I'm just not a very hostile person by nature. And when you're angry, you're not thinking. When you're just being so short tempered and reactive like that, you're not thinking. But you got to think of the big picture. The big picture is the Sussexes have got to earn their money. And by having money, it's the only way that they're going to be secure. They have to be secure. Their family comes first. I'd rather they quit all of this stuff and deal with their family if they're going to, put their household in danger. Some of the things that they do, it is politically dangerous for them. Just like when Harry, and it's not always easy for Harry because he speaks his mind and he really has to hold back sometimes. But Harry was, I think he was the first person of any type of image, global image of or influence that said anything about the soldiers that time. When he was speaking about the British soldiers, nobody in the royal household said a thing, only Harry. And look at who he was speaking to. And people were hoping, they were hoping that the Orange Menace was going to come for him. But he didn't. He didn't because there were too many people coming for him. So they, I'm sure they were hoping and waiting, trying to throw that question at him. Did you hear what Harry said? He didn't have time to think about it. He was too busy trying to deflect. They're not cowards. They are not cowards. If Meghan was a coward, she wouldn't be there. That's one thing I know about them. They are not cowards. But you just cannot be all things to everybody. And that's just the way life is. Let's see. Simon Black says, Simone says, I unfollowed Murad with the quickness myself. I gave up on that punk a long time ago. That dual life of his, it's one thing to be kinky. It's another thing when I'm not even gonna say what I saw, but I saw what I saw. And that right there was a huge turnoff. A huge turnoff. So that's all I'll say about that. It's something that you cannot unsee. All right? You cannot unsee it. And because of that, I haven't watched that movie Happy Feet since. Okay. I mean, we all got our kinks, but woo. Where's the puke bucket? Anyway, thank you so much for the super chat. Got the nerves to turn against them. And I like Dr. Scholl. I just did not appreciate that. She should have known better. Hold your tongue for a while. You don't have to jump on everything. Do you see how many times everybody talks about stuff and I might mention it a couple of days later? I take my time. I'm not in a rush to be the first to say something. It's not that important. I take my time because I want to make sure I get it right. I don't want to just put it out there for the sake of it. I mean, did they even think before they opened their mouths? I doubt it. I wish that certain battles could be won because somebody was the first to say something, but that's not always going to help. It usually doesn't help. This moment right here, if you were wondering, I do believe that the flowers that Harry was carrying was for this young lady. Maybe not. But he had a note, I believe, or he had been in touch with someone. But this one right here was particularly heartbreaking. And I just want to take you through this as best I can without having the video. But, they enter You know, when Harry puts his hand on his heart like that, that he's, self-soothing because he's really having an emotional moment. And and then of course they're hearing about this this young lady's injuries, and from there, Meghan takes her hand, but very respectful that both she and Harry, um, got down to their eye level instead of standing over her like that, which of course is not. Uh, you're not obligated to do that when you're visiting someone in the hospital, of course, but for them to do that, for them to humble themselves in front of someone who is being quite a hero by simply fighting for their life and um, surviving for the sake of her kind, of her people, for her nation. It's a lot of reasons why not just this young lady, but they all need to survive to remind people that that this is something that did not have to happen. That this is the most um, disastrous thing that could possibly happen to someone is watching your whole nation being ravaged for whatever reason. So this she's the future of Palestine. And you know it's it's a lot of people, especially those people that run that country the size of New Jersey that we dare not speak of. They will not like these images. You already know that they are not going to like these images. But people need to know their story. People need to know what's at stake. People need to know that there's lives in the balance, and not just with Gaza, but all over, especially in places in Africa that have been under siege for centuries because of their raw materials, because of their, you know, their well, I don't even know what to call it, but their physical abilities, slavery. They have been under stress and strain um, on the continent for forever, whether it came from the Arabs, whether it came from Europe, but or even if it came from the other tribe. This has been going on for so long. All of the pressure that's put on one part of the world, one part of the world. But there are honest brokers who really do want to help. Oh, by the way, I don't have the other photo, but the doctor wanted to show, the injury to her leg. I believe it was a she had been badly burned. I think I shared that yesterday. But I thought I was just so impressed with Harry when he was saying that he was going to show it to them, and Harry was like, "Does she mind? Is that okay with her?" And he said, "Oh yeah, she said it was okay." But that shows you the level of respect that Harry has. That whether or not they are there to, bring attention to all of these things, he did not want this individual to be made uncomfortable or feeling awkward or further victimized by showing everybody, what's under the blanket. It's a very personal thing. But fortunately, she said it was okay. But I'm just impressed that Harry was that thoughtful. Make sure it's okay with her. Make sure you are respecting her space and her boundaries. Not everybody would have enough sense to say something, but that just goes to show how thoughtful he is. And that impressed the hell out of me. It really did. Let me see. I just want to take a quick look and see if I could find the other photo from yesterday. And like I said, later on, I'm going to come back and then we're going to go through some of the photos and other things that was mentioned today. Oh, okay. I found it. So, okay. So that's, no, is that a different person? Yeah, that's a different person. Harry and Meghan joined the World Health Organization chief. They spoke with medical staff and met Maria, a 14-year-old burn victim from Gaza. So there you go. That's the extent of her injuries. It looks like she lost her toes on her right foot. And burns are very risky, especially on your legs. It's something about injuries to the leg that can be very difficult to heal. So very, very dangerous. But she's obviously a very strong person. Wait, what did the caption say? Yeah. Okay. So that was their reaction to it. This must have been for them particularly heartbreaking. And this person looks like there was some bones shattered with the way they have all those pins there. Okay. So yeah, I don't know if the flowers was for Maria or not. And if you're thinking Maria sounds like a very Christian name, do remember that there are a lot of Christians that live in Palestine, and that Christians have been targeted just as much as the Islamic Muslim people. The Christians have been targeted too. Churches have been destroyed. Okay, now I'm going to let you. That's Roy Anika, right? Oh God. Oh, she gives me gas. This broad gives me gas. They all do. I am just a mountain of flatulence because of these people. I could blow any minute. Okay, so I'm going to play a little soundbite. Oh, gosh, it's right there. What are the chances?
Jordan. So everyone at the moment is obsessed with what the royals are doing and saying following the arrest of Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. Now Harry and Meghan have popped up
Sorry, it's buffering.
On a surprise trip. We were literally only told hours before.
Okay, I'm going to start over.
So everyone at the moment is obsessed with what the royals are doing and saying following the arrest of Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. Now Harry and Meghan have popped up on a surprise trip. We were literally only told hours before that they were heading to the Middle East on this 2-day visit to Jordan. And this is why it's a trip that's going to stand out. They invited one camera in as they met children who've been evacuated from Gaza and are now being treated in a hospital in Jordan. Also, more widely, they wanted to go there to see how money that they've donated is being spent. They've given money to the likes of the World Health Organization and Save the Children. So they went to the Zatari refugee camp and also talked about money that's being spent and being invested in developing prosthetic limbs for amputees. Of course, we cannot forget that there is only one story that people have been talking about involving their family, and that is Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, the former Prince Andrew, and his links to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, Harry and Meghan in the past have not held back in terms of how they feel they've been badly treated compared to Andrew. And in fact, Harry, in his book Spare, went further than any other member of the family when it came to criticising Andrew. They are, of course, though, on this trip trying to ignore all the noise around all that story, because while they may no longer be working royals, they are still very much part of that family.
You know, this is a short, right? One of the things that I say over and over and over and over and over again is that the internet was supposed to be the great equalizer. It was supposed to make us all smarter, more informed. It was supposed to help us break through that chokehold from the mass media, from corporate media. Now, corporate media has successfully infiltrated the internet. So this reporter, if you want to say she's a reporter, that hack is sitting in a newsroom, and these little vignettes that they record, they find their way into your feed, into your algorithm. So yes, you don't have to turn on the news anymore to hear them. You don't have to turn on cable TV or any of that. They find you. They find you. They follow you all over the internet. They find you wherever you go. So unfortunately, the misinformation, the bias, news, the negative opinions, all of that stuff, unfortunately, follow us everywhere we go. If you don't have a good filter, it's going to make you feel very, very depressed. It's very pessimistic. It's a reason to switch it all off and go for a walk. You know, take care of your mental health first, because you cannot unsee it. Once you see it, it's there. And the words that they use are designed to keep you coming back. It's like an abusive boyfriend. It's gaslighting. They make you believe that they have the answer to everything, and they're the only ones that's going to tell you the truth. And, you know, just like with an abusive boyfriend, you just keep going back for more. Something is drawing you. Was it the Helsinki syndrome or whatever? Stockholm syndrome? Something keeps pulling you back, but you can just switch it off. I recommend that you switch it off from time to time and do something that's going to enhance your life and improve your mood. But you don't have to, you know, hear and see everything that's going on. I mean, as much as I love the support, I'd rather you take care of yourself first. Just, you know, just to be sure that you're available for yourself and for your family and for your friends that are family. That is more important than anything. But yeah, uh, you can see how she's trying to connect the more positive things about Harry and Meghan to the royal family. And they want to have their cake and eat it, like Pierce Morgan kept saying over and over again. They want to have their cake and eat it too. Well, it really is that. They don't want you to believe that the Sussexes are equal to anyone else in the family, but they do want you to believe that everything that they have and everything they do is because of the family, which is, it's strange, it's ridiculous that they are trying to have it both ways, but you want so desperately for them to not have any association with the crown or with their titles or anything like that. But yet they're so ready to capitalize on it any chance they get. But I guess the bottom line is whatever happens, so long as we know that William is angry, that seems to be the underlying point to everything. Is so long as we know that William is not pleased, William is angry. When William gets the opportunity, he's going to strip their titles. Long as we know that, that seems to be what's important, what's most important. But yeah, and it was pretty much like that all over, where they oh, let me see here. It says, I'm sorry. You know what? You guys can't see it. There we go. I Am Sage shared that earlier. And I Am Sage says, Rihanna is a little piece of crap. Oh, that's Rihanna Mills, not Roy Anika. That's Rihanna Mills. Rihanna Mills is a little piece of shit. Crap. She stands here saying that even though Harry and Meghan are no longer working royals, they are still part of the family, the royal family. Really? How many articles or think pieces or morning programs have gone on and on about how Harry is banished and no one in the family wants anything to do with him and no one speaks to him or trusts him, blah, blah, blah. And now, when Harry and Meghan are out and dominating global news, doing amazing work, now they are part of the royal family. This, friends, is why William is all talk and will never strip Harry of his titles, ever. I like that little piece of caca. Let's see. I think Rotor Rats don't care for Harry and Meghan. It's all about the cash. Thank you very much, Joan Garcia. I don't think they care. I don't think they care at all. But they're just bullies, um, public school bullies that have a platform, and it's a culture thing with the media. The media type is very much a culture thing, and it's also um, cultish behavior defending an institution like that. But I don't blame them. I mean, they have grown up with the idea of having a monarchy, and I believe that's very powerful. And you can never underestimate how important something like that could be for someone who's only known that system, that still believes in that system. Let's see. Lorraine Esmeralda says they should be called public paid royals and non public paid royals instead of working and non working royals. Yeah, but they will find a way to hijack that, I'm sure. They'll find some kind of way to make sure, like, how many times have you seen in the past couple of days quasi royal tour? That is directly from the Royal Rota WhatsApp group. I'm pretty sure that Big Back Becky made sure that everybody in the Royal Rota used that phrase quasi. Anything to try to delegitimize the Sussexes, even though compared to the other two, they're the only ones that are doing some real work. But anyway, thank you so much for the super chat. Now, this spot of bother here, I wouldn't call it an excuse, but it's certainly an explanation. Annabelle Fenwick Elliott's TikTok followers told her she had classic autism traits. So she went to get tested and it changed her life. Well, I have autism and ADHD. Finally, I understand why I have no friends. That ain't the only reason, honey. That ain't the only reason. How about you're just an awful person? I am very sure that whatever her diagnosis, that she uses that as an excuse. She has mercilessly attacked Meghan just for clicks and engagement, just for money, just for money. And that's it. It's not that she cares. As a matter of fact, she tells you she doesn't really care. I saw one of the TikToks she made where she said that I don't really care about Meghan, but I find it interesting. That's why I talk about her. Well, anyway, you know what? I'll let you hear it yourself. This is one of those ones where you say to yourself, do I really want to give this person the exposure that they want? Is that really what I want to do? Um, and I had to think about it. And the things that she said to me were just so nasty and offensive. Annabelle Fenwick Elliott is what she calls herself. This picture of beaming Meghan and Stony Harry says it all. Part of me feels sorry for her. So this came out yesterday, and I didn't mention it yesterday, but the more I thought about it, the more I got bothered and triggered by it. And I guess the problem is it wasn't enough that she wrote the article. Then she decided to go to social media, which, by the way, the Sussex squad is tearing her a new one. I can promise you that right now. Um, she doesn't have such a strong position herself because she is a fountain of information and her life is a wreck, an absolute wreck. I'm surprised that she has a partner. I'm really surprised she has a partner. But anyway, I'm not going to delay. I'm going to let you hear what she said. Oh, by the way, take a look at this. A lot of these are anti Megan, hateful, cruel, mean spirited videos. Um, if you ask me how many of them are about Andrew, with everything we know about him, I can tell you right now, Andrew is always a footnote. Andrew is only mentioned to justify why she feels she needs to go after Megan. That's it. I know Andrew did this, and I know what he did, but Megan is just more interesting. No, you just want more money. You just want more money. And she sits there churning out hatred, literally. I mean, the article itself was, by the way, it's behind the paywall. The article itself was just dripping with disdain. And I would say racist by nature. But anyway, Okay, let me cue it up.
Meghan Markle is back, guys. This time she's cosplaying as a working royal again. I wrote this article today about it for the Mail. Harry looks pretty miserable, doesn't he? They're in Jordan being humanitarians, and you just know it was too good of an opportunity for Markle Sparkle to not exploit. She is no longer the most despised member of the royal family. This is how I imagine her call to the publicist going. She's had 11 publicists step down, by the way, since 2020, so God knows who's in charge now. Oh my God, it's finally happened. Did you see the photos of Andrew? He looks like a startled weasel in the back of the car. Yeah, I know. Now is my perfect time. Get me on the first jet to somewhere profound so I can kick a football around with some kids. Make sure they're refugees. It doesn't matter where, but bonus points with Illinois, Will and Kate. That last bit was a bit unfair. She went to Jordan, a bit random. Apparently, Will and Kate have lots of ties to Jordan and they really love it there, which makes it even more a snub, but I think that's reading too far into it. Anyway, she's swanning around Jordan in a very crumpled, expensive trouser suit, doing her best Princess Diana impression. And I go into it in more detail in this Mail piece that I wrote. But basically, I think I would honestly rather another season of the Netflix show than loads of fake royal tours that I feel like we have coming up. We're next going to get humanitarian Meghan, and I don't think that humanitarian Meghan is real. I think Netflix Meghan feels and fake, but it's more real than humanitarian Meghan. And for everyone who accuses me of picking on Meghan when there are other members of the royal family who are much worse, you are so right, correct. Andrew, clearly 10,000 times worse. It's just not surprising that he's such a twat, you know? I feel like he's never really pretended to be anything other than. Obviously, he's a gross creep. It's just not very interesting to me. It would be interesting if he launched a Netflix show trying to position himself as a bastion of morality. Then I'd be all up on TikTok talking about him all the time. But he never did that. So I just don't find him very fascinating to pick apart. Anywho, will the royal family survive this? Or, yeah, definitely, I reckon. Andrew obviously needs to go in the bin. So does Meghan, but for different reasons. Okay, bye.
So I want you to look at this. This unhinged woman, Annabelle Fenwick Elliott, is spewing venom toward Her Royal Highness Duchess Meghan while clutching her newborn to her bosom, which is one of the reasons why I felt compelled to share this with you. She is literally educating her children to be just as hateful and intolerant as she is. She complains of suffering from postpartum depression. She says that her baby is making her crazy. She said that her husband was startled because he heard something and probably thought that something, I'm not even going to repeat what she said, had happened to the baby, but it was very twisted. It's very twisted. The fact that this is a mother, a parent, a mother is alarming. She's prancing through the house, almost unable to breathe, so that she can say everything that she thinks people want to hear about Meghan. But I don't doubt for 1 minute that she feels everything she said. Going through her TikTok lets you know that is a very disturbed person. Look at how animated her face is. She could not even care for her child so that she could spew out hatred. And then one of her videos, she actually says she doesn't really care about Meghan, but she just wants the engagement because she's selling some type of onesie that she designed herself. And she knows that people, this is what she said, that she knows that she'll get people to look at her channel and hopefully she can sell them. That is what she said from her mouth. I don't worry about getting in trouble for saying that because that's what she said. That's what came from her mouth. She does not live in the UK, according to her. She doesn't live in the UK. I forgot where she lives, but first one video, she said she went there because it's just less money and she feels sorry for the people back in the UK. But it turns out according to her, that her husband is German, and because of Brexit, he's not able to live with her in the UK because she doesn't have an extra 18,000 pounds. She can't prove she has enough money to keep him, more or less. And so they had to move someplace else. I mean, this just, she's using Meghan, like so many others, she's using Meghan as a vehicle to improve her life, as though Meghan did not suffer from any possible postpartum depression, as if Meghan hasn't been challenged mentally. But that's all she talks about is how bad off her life has been. But she sees absolutely no connection between what she writes and the type of hatred that she helps to conjure up in the masses. She sees no connection whatsoever. What's important is her. That's all that's important is what she needs out of life. And if Megan is in any way between her and the money, then she is going to choose the money. And to hell with Megan. Megan's not a person. Megan is a means to making a more secure family for herself, to afford to live away from the UK. And of course, like so many other Meghan hating women, when you go through the articles that she's written, it's all about her mental health, why she has no friends, how she feels about. Oh, and don't even let me forget to say this: an alcoholic, an alcoholic. Uh, Let me see. I can't believe she has all that hatred when she's just had a baby. Or how about this? This woman is deranged and her narcissism is such that she can't even look after a baby without having to broadcast herself all over the internet because she wants attention. This is such a weird behavior. And the poor baby who has to get all that negative energy, all that hate around him. This is really sad. So the Daily Mail had to find another Meghan hater to write some BS article about her. How much did you get paid to write a nasty article? Truth is, not much. It's not a whole lot. Lastly, you should be pitied. Your poor child having a poisonous woman for a mother. And I don't know if the rapid speech was what prompted this idea about her being ADHD or whatever, but she's just a nasty person. She is a horrible, horrible person. And the fact that she admits that it's really just about the money lets you know that she's kind of not altogether there. I don't know what kind of mother she is, but th- you have to get a license to drive a car. You have to get a license to own a firearm. You have to show an ID or a license to buy alcohol. There's a lot of things that are governed, but being a parent is not one of them. Anybody can do it, as evident. As evident. You have to be licensed to do cosmetology. You have to be licensed to be a mortician. But not this. Not this. I finally understand why I have no friends. It's not because of illness, it's because of you. It's because of you. She's going to try to give people with ADHD a bad name. Oh, I don't think I posted that one, but there's actually the article where she talks about her alcoholism, and I don't think I shared that one. But with everything else that's going on, she says she used to be an alcoholic. That there was a time when she could not do anything without throwing some back. I mean, her life is an open book. But you know what? If you want to do all that talking about yourself, fine. That's fine. But to make up stuff, and she even had this very snarky way that she used the term moon bump, which she does not believe, but for the sake of, I mean, she has a newborn baby. That's what makes this so horrible to even look at. Is that, and by the way, I did the best I could not to show the child's face, but that it was evident that she had, you know, an infant. I believe she has two kids now, maybe. But and then she even talked about having trouble conceiving in the first place. So you had trouble starting a family. Oh, by the way, I think she's 27 years old. I think she had trouble starting a family. But this is what you needed a family for? So that you can teach your kids hatred? I mean, she is the very typical Brexit, MAGA, um, hates people of color, hates anybody that's not like her. That's her story. That is her story. It's a common thread. It's a common thread when you look into their social media. That's why Meghan said if you want to know something about someone, you don't go to Google, you don't go to Wikipedia, you look at their social media. That tells you everything. It tells you everything you need to know. And you are so correct. Harry is very protective of Meghan. Can't believe these strangers hate her so much. Thank God for the Sussex squad. Here, here. Absolutely thank God for the Sussex squad. Because of people like this, because of people that would gladly drive Meghan to destruction, to self destruction, if they could, and would not lose a minute's sleep. And I don't doubt that she hates Meghan. I don't doubt it one bit. She just hates her. It's not just for the money. She has hate in her heart. She's a very hateful person. And nothing is going the way she wants it to go in her life. So better to trash everyone else. You know, if you are subscribed to someone, I rarely tell you all what to do. I don't tell y'all what to do because it ain't my place to do it. But I'm going to tell you this. Are you listening? If you are subscribed to someone who says, I'm doing such and such so you won't have to, unfollow that person. Unfollow that person. You only hear that when it's someone that's hateful. You only hear that when it's someone that is toxic. I'm your such and such so and I'm going to so and so you don't have to. Let me tell you a little story. I'm just going to describe her because I don't want to say who she is, but she's Asian and she talks about money. And she says, I'm your BFF and I'm going to tell you such and such and such and such and everything you need to know so you don't have to. So she had a video where she said that she does not believe in gift cards and she singled out Starbucks. And she was saying that the Starbucks gift card, blah, 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 and that they bank your money and that they can borrow against your money. Well, of course, any institution that has a gift card, any retailer that has a gift card, they have a pool of money, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars, just sitting there. And out of that, let's say $100 million, maybe 80 million will actually get cashed out by the customers. Maybe 90% of it, $90 million will get cashed out. I don't know what the exact leftovers are, but you know that if you have a few dollars or a few cents left on your card, you're probably not going to use it. You're going to lose the card and they get to keep the money. But she singled out Starbucks like they were really getting away with something, right? And I'm just like, well, why are you picking on Starbucks? Why not pick on Target? What about McDonald's? What about any retailer? So what? So if there is this pool of money somewhere, you, the consumer, can either use it or not use it. But listen to me, it's not about the money. It's the negativity. It is the pessimism. I don't want to hear that. I don't care. I don't care. Yes, okay, so they're getting over it. They're in line with the rest of them. But why are you following someone that is going to fill you with this negativity, with this toxin? Are those the only people you follow on the internet? And the answer is yes. That's all she does is Joe Rogan. Loves Joe Rogan. I clocked him a long time ago. I said, he's an agent of misinformation. And what's the guy, the one Diary of a CEO, that Stephen Bartlett or whatever his name is? I clocked him a long time ago. Nothing good comes out of those podcasts. Nothing. They are agents of misinformation. Yes, there's going to be somebody that gets away with something. They always do. But I'm not going to spend my day thinking about who's getting over every 5 minutes. I'd rather have some peace of mind. Because while you're doing that, what are you not focusing on in your own life? So if there's someone that you're following that's telling you, I'm going to give you this information so you don't have to do it yourself, unfollow that person. And if you ever hear me say it, unfollow me. Unfollow me. How many times have I said I should not be the only person that you're listening to? You've heard me say that before. I couldn't dare assume that I got all the answers. I don't. Look someplace else. Look a few other places, but don't ever listen to just one person. But this crackpot right here, she'd be glad if you only took marching orders from her. That would suit her just fine. She's an authority on everything and nothing all at the same time. A real basket case with an infant in her arms, a newborn, clutched to her bosom. I don't know, I'm not going to get into how the baby, whatever, but I think there might be something else secreting from that body of hers. Venom, pure venom. What an awful person. Okay, now this one really baked my noodle. So the lady in the middle is moderating this conversation. This is for the, well, anyway, I guess it's an Arab news channel, and I don't think I ever heard of it before, Al Rabia, but this is their English version, right? So they wanted to get some input about Harry and Meghan, of course. The lady in red is towing the party line. I wouldn't be surprised if she's on the WhatsApp group for the Royal Rota. And the guy, I guess they were hoping that he had something negative to say about the Sussexes, but instead he kind of turned the table a bit and reminded them exactly why they were talking about the Sussexes. I'll hopefully you can hear it okay. The audio for his part of it is not so strong, but I'll try it out. Let me try it out. Okay, give me a second here.
And the Duke and Duchess of Sussex met children at a refugee camp and a hospital in Jordan as part of a 2-day visit. Harry and Meghan arrived in Amman for their first international visit together in 18 months. The pair are expected to engage with the World Health Organization and meet with teams that are coordinating food relief for Gaza from Jordan. Isabel, we haven't spoken about Meghan and Harry in a while, and they're back on the scene. What brings the Duke and Duchess of Sussex to the Middle East and the Gulf region, and of course, Jordan?
Well, we've seen them, haven't we, ringside at basketball matches and things, but we haven't seen them doing this kind of, I suppose, what you'd call a sort of royal, what used to be a state visit when they still work for the royal family, but they haven't done this sort of trip, which very much mirrors the kind of humanitarian roles that they used to take on through patronages and the soft power of the royal family. But here they are at the invitation of the World Health Organization, and as you say, trying to shine a light on humanitarian issues. Jordan, a fascinating country in the Middle East that has taken a disproportionate number of displaced people.
Well, she starts off, of course, she has to remind, but I you know what? I give her points for not saying quasi royal tour. Now, I'm going to fast forward to about the 5-minute mark because that's where the guy starts talking.
Will possibly have in this region, especially in Al Ula, also with young football players. It was perfect, and definitely it was much less of a controversy or a talk or a conversation starter like when you talk about Meghan and Prince Harry.
So I'm not going to go back to that part, but what he's being very nice about William, because they had to bring up William and all that kind of stuff about William going to the Middle East and everything. So he's like, it's this, it's that. It was nice and everything, but okay.
So now we can see that the Sussexes have been involved in something with the World Health Organization. They were invited by Tedros Adhanom himself, and they are trying to do something good, as Isabel was saying, and this is very well. At the same time, it comes as the royal family probably had their biggest crisis in decades when it comes to Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, the ex-prince. And they are trying to manage the image problem in many ways. Now, I don't see this visit to Jordan having any implications on this, but I can see that in Jordan and the Middle East, the Sussexes are facing a much friendlier ground and crowd than anywhere else in the world.
It's a school of thought, Wissam, if I may be so bold as to say, as a Brit, you talk there about Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor being the biggest sort of scandal or threat to the monarchy in decades. I'd say in my lifetime, probably in centuries. And perhaps being unkind, you could say Harry and Meghan have sensed that actually people are beginning to think we're not the bad apples in the royal family. We're just a young couple trying to find our way. We're still doing good work out here. Actually, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor might have perhaps changed people's perceptions of them, if that's not too ungenerous of me to suggest. It's a school of thought.
Well, that's really interesting to hear this from you as well. That's very interesting. That if you put things, it's very interesting, Isabel. If you put things in perspective, you are absolutely right. Whatever thing people have against the Sussexes, which is very tabloidy and very, small talk, this looks really not very nasty compared to what we are talking about in the case of Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor.
And they could actually conversely be an asset to the royal family, because as I was...
Did you hear what he said? He said, whatever it is that we're talking about with Harry and Meghan, it's really could be called tabloidy. They were hoping to get some tabloid stuff out of him. And I'm glad that he called the coverage exactly what it is when it comes to the Sussexes. If it's coming from the British media, even the ones that are more established and seem like they're, real journalism, it's always reduced to tabloidy. Even the fact that they wanted to introduce Andrew into the conversation lets you know that they're trying to reduce the Sussexes' footprints to something tabloidy. So I'm glad that he reminded them that the usual reference to Harry and Meghan is tabloid fodder. It's not real news if it's coming from the British press. Also, as he pointed out, that William had a nice visit, but the Sussexes are really getting the best coverage in the Middle East compared to any place else in the world, which is also true. For the moment, of course, but they are getting the best coverage from the press there. There are so many examples of the almost celebratory mood amongst a lot of people in the Middle East with the Sussex visit. As a matter of fact, let me see here. Oh, you know what? I was going to talk about this, but I'll just do this right now. Epstein blamed Charles on day Andrew lost UK trade envoy, former Prince Andrew, blah, 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 who has denied any wrongdoing, served as UK special representative from 2001 to 2011. Apparently, there was an email where Epstein said that that Charles is responsible for PA. And of course, they assume PA. Oh, you know what? There it is right there. Jeffrey Epstein blamed Charles on the day Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor lost his UK trade envoy job. And that was back on the 21st of July, 2011. On the day it was announced that the former prince would step down from the role, Epstein wrote, "I assume he knows that this is Charles' doing." The email was in response to a message from an associate who said, "Lots of TV coverage on PA," meaning Prince Andrew in all likelihood, And always big feature on you. Insane. Sky News believes PA refers to Prince Andrew. Okay, I'm done with that. Also, they do not want Andrew out riding the horse with that big fat chin hanging down on his chest and that big gut sticking out of his jacket. They don't want him riding around smiling and waving to tourists. Well, I think there's common sense. He should have governed himself and not done that. That was the height of ignorance. You know that people hate your guts and that you are the laughing stock of the family. Why are you trying to trigger people by riding around on a horse like that and reminding people that you are living a life second to none, even though you ought to be locked up? Where's Kitty? Still playing with her hair? Is she still playing with her hair? You know what? I did not realize this, but there are lots of photos of Kitty with her fingers in her hair. I didn't realize it at the time, but it was because one of her tracks got detached. One of her tracks. She lost one of her tracks. You can clearly see that she lost one of her tracks. I don't know if it came out because she won't stop touching it or if it was the humidity or what, but she lost one of her tracks. Now, the palace said some time ago that Kate has a scar from a childhood operation, but there are some people who believe that that scar is nothing but, some hair extensions. I tend to believe it's hair extensions. Right there, you can clearly see it. It just kind of pulled away, just kind of got away from her, didn't it? But she's having a rough time of it. I don't know if it's a reflection of her state of well being or as if she's just going through a midlife crisis. The Peroxide Princess. Sun-kissed Kate debuts new lighter locks as Prince William drives family to church service on annual Scotland vacation. But the palace didn't like that. Kensington Palace made a phone call. Instead of that, is looking Kate, right? Looking great, looking Kate. They made a phone call. They were not pleased with that headline. Did you guys just hear a crack of thunder? Wait a minute. Let me try that again. Did you hear that thunder? Lord have mercy. Talk about a face like thunder. They pushed Kitty out there because, Meghan and Harry were in Jordan. And because of the nature of their visit, which involved a lot of wounded, sick, injured children, they decided they had to push Kitty and Willie out there as soon as possible. Does Kate look like she's having a good time? Does she look like she's having a good time? Oh my God, talk about a face like thunder. As soon as I saw that picture, I swear it sounded like the SS Minnow was about to hit that rock on Gilligan's Island. The weather started getting rough. The tiny ship was tossed. Remember that? They had that crack of thunder or lightning. And then the ocean started to roll and pitch. Well, And this was the photo I think they used for the newspaper. For one of the newspapers, they used that photo and some other photo. Good God. That is sad, isn't it? She doesn't want to do this work. She really does not want to do this work. Now, you see, they spent all that time critiquing everything that Meghan has been doing. And their response was, let's hurry up and get Kate out there, right? Well, Kate's out there, and this is the state of Kate. Now, to be fair, there are some pictures where she's smiling, but it's almost like she's looking into the camera crying for help. Help me! Help me! Help! Help me! It's almost like she's resigned herself to what has my life become. You see, if there were pictures of Meghan looking like this, they would have a whole script. They'd have a whole dialogue as to what Meghan is thinking and feeling and doing. But since they won't do one for Kate, how about we do it? So that's my idea, is that Kate is not very happy that she had to go out in the rain again, that she has to have all these other people's children hanging on her and everything. And of course, even in the pouring rain, they got to get these pictures. They went to Wales, by the way, today. Yeah, they went to Wales, but they had to get these pictures. So there you have it. Poor Kate. See, this is the with this right here, the caption said that the Harry and Meghan was snubbed by the Jordanian royal family, right? This was like a two-pronged attack. Actually, three-pronged attack. First of all, find some photos of Harry and Meghan that look like they're somewhat disappointed, right? The one on the right side for sure. The one on the left side, I think they just kind of forgot. And then in the center of that, they remind you that Kate was out today. William and Kate, they were together. That lets you know that they meant business. They sent the two of them out together to Wales. I forgot what the occasion was, but it was something they made up. Okay, fine. So they sent the two of them out today to make sure that they get some good beaming pictures of Kitty. And they did. There are some where she's smiling. I just decided not to use those. She was even playing rock, paper, scissors with the kids in the rain. Rock, paper, scissors. Now, Big Back Becky, she took a video, right? I don't want to share it with you, but she took a video. It looks like they're at a farm or something. They're like walking through the mud and everything, and they had these kids all lined up with their parents. And so when Kate started walking toward William, it looks like he was trying to take the umbrella from her, but she didn't let go. And then he thought, oh, I'm going to go and get an umbrella. Most of the kids, just like last time, most of the kids did not have umbrellas. The parents did, but the kids didn't. I don't know why it was so important for them to meet with these kids out in the pouring rain. That's the level of desperation to make sure that they can one up the Sussexes, or at least try to steal their momentum any way they can. The last time you saw a royal with a look like that on their face, that was when they forced Beatrice and Eugenie to go to that, what was that? That picnic luncheon thing, garden party. That's it. The garden party at Buckingham Palace. That is pitiful. Absolutely pitiful. And it just shows Nothing but desperation. It's been highly successful. And outside of the UK, most people are never going to see these photos. They're not going to see it. Outside of the UK, these photos are just going to get lost. What people around the world are looking at is Harry and Meghan and Jordan. This means absolutely nothing. Rock, paper, scissors in the rain. Can you say desperate? Let's see. April Lynn says Kate looks like she have something to say. I wonder what Kensington Palace have to say. I know. I was shocked. I was shocked that this is one of the photos that they used. I was really shocked that they even used this photo, but I guess they just did not have that many photos available that had any type of, I don't know. Maybe they felt sorry for whoever edited the article. Oh, nice. Harry and Meghan snubbed by Jordan's royal family. King Abdullah and his eldest son, who has a close relationship with Charles and William, swerved meeting the Sussexes. That's all y'all get? Is that all y'all get? Oh, wait. Oh, by the way, thank you, April Lynn. They referred to Kate as her royal huggness. Don't forget, we're hugging people now. Her royal huggness. God, I cannot believe that photo. I cannot believe that photo. And there's other photos. But those two, this one and this one, are very prominent. And then after this whole ordeal in the rain, then they went inside of an art gallery for whatever reason. It's like Daffodil Day or something like that. So on a day like today, listen to this. Kate and William then visit the Oriel Davies, a public contemporary art gallery based in Newton, rural Powys, to see project funded by the Alexander Reinhardt Memorial Award. They learned how regular creative workshop led by artist Nikki Arscott encourage social connection and build confidence among the young people through connection to nature and a celebration of cultures and community cohesion. What the F did they just say? Y'all went out in the rain because of what? They learned how regular creative workshops led by artist Nikki Arscott encourage social connection and build confidence among young people through connection to nature and a celebration of cultures and community cohesion. That's why she looks like that. That's why she looks like that, because they got her up out of the house and off to Wales in the pouring rain to pass out daffodils, to hug people's kids so that they could go in an art gallery on a Thursday in February so that they can learn how regular creative workshops led by artist what's his face encourages social connection. Encourages social connection and build confidence among young people through connection to nature and a celebration of cultures and community cohesion. Oh, wow. That's a mouthful, ain't it? You know, just looking at the pictures, I would have never guessed that that's what was going on here. But now that they put it that way, I must have been blind. How could I have been so blind? Of course, that's what's going on. Of course, they were there to encourage social connections and build confidence among. Listen, I bet y'all don't believe that that's what they say, right? Let me screenshot this for you because I don't think y'all believe me. I don't think y'all believe me, but I could show you better than I could tell you. I just took a screenshot. Uh, oh Lord, 10 years, 10 years Kitty waited for him to pop the question, and this is what life has become. 10 years. It took her 10 years to get into this club. Mm, mm, mm. That's sad. That is so sad. Mm, mm, mm. First of all, who wrote that? Who wrote that? This article is by Jessica Green, assistant lifestyle editor. Somebody else. I was thinking that Big Back Becky had wrote it, but she didn't. Well, good luck, Kate. You're gonna need it. You are gonna need it. I'm not saying that she drinks, but if she does have an occasional spirit, I don't blame her. You'd have to have something to get through this. You'd have to have something to get through this. Good God. Oh, let me see. Yeah, yeah. Everybody who works for the tabloid media, they all got something. They all got something. Why am I picturing William standing next to the photographer telling Kate to smile for the camera? Because that's probably what happened. And you notice that William is not in every shot because he was trying to avoid the rain. Thank you for the super chat. Oh my God. I want to share that video with you so bad. Let me take a look and see if I can. Let me take a look. I mean, it's just a mess out there. And the kids are, I mean, oh God, I don't get it. And they're holding the Welsh flag and everything. That they really, I wish someone would say something about the way that they use those kids. It's an absolute disgrace that they have kids standing out in the elements like that. And remember how bad it was that last time it was raining so hard and the kids were like screaming and everything and trying to cover up their little faces. You would think that Kate would have just given them the umbrella. But no, she was clutching that thing for dear life. Let me see here. You know what, guys? I have gone way over what I wanted to do. I think I'm going to. Let me see. What am I going to do here? I'm coming back later, so that's why I don't want to keep going because I promised I wasn't going to do any more of those big marathons anymore. Lex says, "Will William melt in the rain?" Oh, let me see why he scared of it. Um, I'm gonna bet because it. I think it kind of brings out the shining in him. You know what I'm saying? Like the character from The Shining, Jack Nicholson. I think when the weather's like that, it kind of brings that out of him. I'm pretty sure that his mood alters in inclement weather like that, and he's probably kind of scary to be around, like being snowed in the house with him, or a rainy day. He'll be sitting there at the typewriter typing all work and no plates, makes Will a dull boy or something like that. Yeah, I get the shining energy from William. Um, Prince Edward gives me Anthony Perkins in Psycho, and William gives me Jack Nicholson in The Shining. That's the energy that they put out. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna go, and I'll be back later, and then we'll pick up from where we left off. Cause I got some stuff for Chuck and for what's her name? Yeah, it's just Chuck and Ford Fiesta. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I'm gonna come back later, you guys. Matter of fact, I will put the time. I don't know. Maybe it'll be a few hours. It'll be a few hours. Not super late, but probably about 11 my time, 11 Central Time. So I think that's like midnight East Coast. So yeah, I'll be back later. Oh, you're watching Bridgerton. Okay. I'm like a season behind or 2 seasons now. So I don't know if I got the courage to pick up from where I left off. I did the first 2 seasons. So, what's it all about, kitty? Is your life really bad or shitty? And if it's raining too hard, kitty. Oh, that face, that face, that face. I love it. These are the kind of pictures that Celibici um, takes such pride in. Celibici loves those kind of pictures of Kate. They're very shady. I love them. Hazel Jones, I didn't know you were here. Okay, let me stop because it'll be like another half hour with me. Oh, I didn't know you were here. All right. Anyway, so that is the new Karen, that person that was holding the child and spewing all that venom. Trust me, you're going to hear a lot about her in the next couple of days if you're on Twitter, because they are dragging her to filth. And I suppose the notorious JTB, I suppose he's going to give her a good dragging at some point. But yeah, what an awful person. I don't like her. So yeah, when I come back, we're gonna finish what I did where I left off here, and definitely we're gonna talk about Jordan. There's a bunch of really cool stuff that they did today, and I'm gonna share that with you. Okay. All right. See you guys later. Love you guys.